Recently, I done a rebuild with Stoke City, but something very weird happened. In season number 3, Brentford were relegated to the Championship, but qualified for Champions League football. Now today, I'm picking up that exact Brentford save, taking over as manager, and seeing how we rebuild Brentford from the Championship, but also having Champions League football. What that does to our squad, our reputation, does everyone want to leave? And can we win the Champions League in just 5 seasons from that point? And the way they got Champions League football, obviously, was because they won the Europa League, which is absolutely mental, beating Lazio in the final. And other than that, they were absolutely awful. 4th round of the Carabao, 3rd round of the FA Cup, and as mentioned, 18th in the Premier League on 33 points. And gained relegation. But the weirdest thing is how good the actual team is. You've got Nathan Collins, Kevin Shade, you've got Angelo Stillo, who's a fantastic DM with Vitaly Janel, you've got Aaron Hickey, Højbjerg. That's the issue. Anthony was in the team. It now all makes sense. You've got Facundo Torres, regular Boubacar Samari, Brian Mbeumo is still here as well. Goalkeeper-wise, Elias Raffenholzen is one of my favourite goalkeepers on this game. He is here in goal as well. And somehow they've been relegated. I can't quite believe it. But we are taking them over. And we're going to have Champions League football in season number 2. Now, in terms of the club info, the reputation has apparently gone down to 3.5 star, which is very interesting because we are now a Champions League side. And when checking out the dynamics, everyone wants to leave. Now, I didn't actually think this was going to be the case because we are now playing in the Champions League. I know we're in the Championship, but we're now in the Champions League. I've got no idea how the scheduling is going to work. I've got no idea if we're going to be able to sign big players. And I've got no idea how it's really going to work. We've got £48 million to spend, negative £100,000 of wage budget, which is understandable. I think my game plan is going to be to accept any offers that come in for players that do want to leave, and then I'll replace them because the team is good enough to compete, to be honest. Possibly, I mean, they've just won the Europa League, so they're definitely good enough to compete in the Champions League. We'll absolutely smash the Championship, I imagine. But if anyone wants to leave when we get offers, I'll be accepting it and replacing them with my own signings. Well, I don't know why I was surprised, but it happened a lot and most of our players left, including Aaron Hickey, who joined Real Madrid for 60 million. We got 28 million for Mads Ruslev, and for last season's top goal scorer, Kevin Shade. We somehow got 25 million for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to Bournemouth, and then made a bunch of other money as well, selling Erakovic, Samare, Reguilon, Mark Flecken. Overall, £172 million has been made. And my strategy for going to sign players from here wasn't to sign amazing Champions League players, but build this squad up with the hope that we can do semi-decent in the Champions League this season, win the Championship, and very quickly get back to Champions League football when we're in the Premier League. So we concentrated on signing younger, homegrown players. So number 1 was free agent signing Tyler Morton, who has progressed outstandingly after leaving Liverpool. We signed Callum Doyle from Manchester City, which is a very FM-based signing. And yes, a lot of these signings in this rebuild will be FM signings. They'll be meta, sweaty wonder kids. To be honest, that's what I want. I want to get as good of a team, as good as possible. But just to see what this Championship season is like, it's going to be absolutely mental. But yes, Callum Doyle joined the Sky for just £8 million. As did Jacob Ramsey for £18 million from Arsenal. Well, remember, we are 3 seasons actually in to the simulation. We're at the end of 2027. So Jacob Ramsey left Aston Villa after having a fantastic season, joined Arsenal, played 4 games in 2 years. So we've picked him up for just £15 million. He is outrageously good for the Championship. As is Levi Colville, who has just not had the game time at Chelsea and cost us 20 million quid. He's worth 60 already. He's consistent. He likes big matches and he's absolutely fantastic. We signed Ipswich striker Liam Delap to come in and be our number 9 for the Championship, as well as Jamie Donnelly from Spurs, because I've done a rebuild before and this guy turned into the best player in the world. As soon as I signed him, we had a friendly and he's damaged his cruciate ligaments and he's out for 7 months, which isn't exactly ideal. But instead of getting another striker, I carried on strengthening the defence. Austin Gueye comes in from PSG, and our final signings were Emerson from West Ham for 8 million, the loan signing of Mike Penders from Chelsea, James Justin for 15 million from Crystal Palace, and finally Lenny Yoro from Manchester United for £33 million. pounds. We have spent a lot of money. We spent every single penny we gained, in fact. We spent 183 million, 10 million pounds more. But we have completely sort of redone this Brentford side into a young, homegrown, supreme talent side. Olafsson in goal, Gueye, Yoro, Colville, Emerson is our back four, Janelt, Stiller, and Buemo, Facundo Torres, Jacob Ramsey, and Jamie Donnelly up front. I genuinely believe this Brentford side could compete in the top 6 in the Premier League, so I'm quite expecting that we'll absolutely smash for the Championship. I mean, even our backups would probably win the Championship, to be honest. Penders, Matty Cash, Vanderberg, Callum Doyle, Justin, Yunus Emre Konag, Tyler Morton. Anthony is still here, so maybe not. Yarmouk, Harvey Barnes, and Liam Delap as our backup striker, but probably our main striker for this season. So there's absolutely no sort of qualms the fact that we are 1-91 to win the Championship. We are the best Championship side that has ever been seen, but we're in the Champions League. Now, in terms of the scheduling, we can't quite see how mental it is going to get, but we've got 46 games to play now, plus the 8 minimum for playing in the Champions League group stage, plus the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Super Cup. We could play like 65 to 70 games this season, and that wouldn't even be outrageous. So let's get into the Championship season and see what we can do. But we are on super speed highlights because we were just absolutely ridiculous, and this game itself against one of the top sides in the Championship just shows how good we were going to be. We were 2-1 up thanks to a backstick header from Ramsey. I mean, Harvey Barnes is a rotational winger. He finds Jacob Ramsey, who finds Liam Delap to make it 3-1 in 67 minutes. Stiller is going to whip it into the front post, going to get headed away, but we're going to recycle and make it 4-1 thanks to Liam Delap yet again. And in the 90th minute, we are going to make it 5-1 against probably the second best team in the Championship in Burnley. Then big results, though, just kept coming against some of the biggest sides in the Championship. So it's absolutely no surprise that we scored 97 goals this season, had the most shots, had the fewest against, and of course, we absolutely battered the Championship on 109 points. And there's that I'm the top goal scorer. The goals are spread out superbly. The team was absolutely outrageous, and I believe this breaks the record for most points in a season, which it does indeed, 109. Absolutely unbelievable. As mentioned, the goals are spread so well throughout the team. Liam Delap back 25, Facundo Torres 20, Jacob Ramsey 15, and Buemo 15, Harvey Barnes 11, Janelt with 10. But we're not here to see how good this team does in the Championship because it was very obvious we were going to absolutely dominate. How did we get on in the Champions League? I can't believe this is an actual game and an actual scoreline from the Champions League phase as Brentford face Atletico Madrid. Championship, Brentford, by the way, face Atletico Madrid. We're 2-0 up in 24 minutes. And as you can tell, we've got the super speed highlights on again because this team we built was an absolute joke. And I'm not sure if the tactic I built was maybe a bit good, but my God, it's 4-0 in half-time, 5-0 just after the half-time from the spot. And we are going to beat Atletico Madrid 6-0 in a Champions League phase game. And that just shows how well we've done in the league phase because we ended up finishing in 11th place, 5 wins, 3 losses. We beat Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, Spurs, Shakhtar and Transport and didn't concede a single goal. When we did concede, it was heavy. We lost 4-0 to AC Milan, 5-4 to Juventus, and 2-1 to Bayern Munich. In terms of clubs that did better than Spurs, Bayern, AC Milan, Feyenoord, Benfica, Dortmund, PSV, Porto. I cannot believe how well we've done. We are going to the knockout playoff round, however, where we're going to face up against Feyenoord, and after the first leg was a pretty boring 1-1 draw, we brought things back to the Brentford Community Stadium in another midweek game. I mean, the fans, I don't know how they get into all these games because we ended up selling out every single game pretty much. And we played like 70 games, which is ridiculous. We're 2-0 up. We are going to go back to 2-1 thanks to a goal here from Feyenoord, from Valemark from the edge of the box. But in the 85th minute, we do put the game to bed. And we are progressing to the round of 16 as a Championship team. I just find this absolutely incredible. Shout out to the legend in the comments who said this would be a great video idea. You, sir, are an absolute legend. This was genuinely so fun to go back and do. The only sad thing was that in the round of 16, we did play up against Liverpool and they absolutely battered us. We drew 0-0 in the second leg, but lost 4-1 at home in the first leg. Liverpool, the 7th best team in the Premier League, which is A bit disappointing for them, but they've had a pretty good showing against us. We are going to be back in that league to hopefully try and compete, but I can't believe what has just happened in the Champions League. And it took Liverpool to stop us in the Carabao Cup as well, as they knocked us out in the 4th round and went on to win it. And in the FA Cup, it was finalists Manchester City that knocked us out. So without playing against them two sides, we very much could have gone very far in both the cup competitions as well. But the question I all know what you're asking is, what on earth did the scheduling look like? It was pretty crazy. I mean, just for example, the championship in August was mental without even any Champions League games. September, October, November was quiet with just 5. And then December, January, February, March, April. So many games in such a short space of time. So we ended up playing a grand total of 64 games, which is mental in just one season. But we've done it. We've come out on top. And it's safe to say the club has done quite well financially from it, because obviously we've won the championship, we got the parachute payments for getting relegated, and then we got Champions League money as well. So there's £140 million in the bank and £106 million of a transfer budget to go and spend. Yes, I am going to spend a lot of money this summer and hopefully build this Brentford team into an absolute powerhouse pretty damn quickly. And I mean, the best news was saying goodbye to Anthony, who has gone to join Al Shabab. Obviously, I'm joking. I actually don't mind Anthony as a player. I think he's just on absolutely awful form. It's just quite funny that he couldn't do it at Championship Brentford either, but he's going to go earn his bag in Saudi Arabia. And the only other major sale was Yeher Yarmouk, who has left to go and join Bournemouth. We got £38 million for him, which I think is pretty damn good. But to be fair, he has progressed into a superstar cam. So if you're looking for a young cam or you're doing a Brentford save, give Yarmouk a chance, because he grows very, very well. But on to the signings for this season. We're going to go and buy some absolutely amazing young players. Number 1 is Senisa Roganovic from Serbia, from Crvena Zvezda for just £8 million. Number 2 is young left-back Josh Doherty, signed from Crystal Palace. He's got 20 determination, decent physicals and good crossing. So as a regen left-back, you really can't get much better than that. And I have brought in Richard Trafford as well. Now, if you've not watched the Stoke one, you won't know who Richard Trafford is. So I implore you guys to go and watch the Stoke one after this video, because that rebuild, we used 6-foot players only and only used a 4-4-2 and was absolutely mental. Richard Trafford was a big part of that save, but I've brought him here before Stoke got their hands on him, and hopefully he can be a big part of this save too. We also signed Nahuel Chesa, who is an Argentinian winger from Boca. This guy looks absolutely amazing. Good physicals, good finishing, good composure, 16 determination, 17 flair, 16 technique, 5'10", and just 19 years of age. And our final signing is our big new striker, Samu Omeraideren. He's coming in to be an absolute superstar up front. Omega Luke done a video making him a Ballon d'Or winner. I'm going to see if we can do that here today with Brentford. Samu is him, and he is here. And genuinely, this team is something that I would build to attempt to win a Champions League. In any rebuild normally, we've just done it when we started the championship. Olafsson in goal, Gueye, Yoro, Colville and Doherty is the back 5, with Yano and Stiller in DM, and Buemo, Ramsey, Harvey Barnes and Samu Omeraideren leads the line. But we've got Matty Cash, Rojanovic, Callum Doyle, James Justin, Konak, Tyler Morton, Richard Trafford, Facundo Torres, Chesa, Liam Delap. This team is so well rounded. It is possibly the best team to ever come out of the championship. We are predicted mid-table football instantly. So I'm hoping we can get into another European competition, the Conference League or the Europa League, and see if we can win one of them. And will you join me here in an absolutely mental FA Cup final against Spurs? I don't know what's going on in this rebuild. It's just absolute carnage. It's incredibly fun. 1-0 from Harvey Barnes, and very quickly 2-0 from Harvey Barnes in just 8 minutes. But this game is not going to be as straightforward as you may think. Destiny Odoji finds Kavica, Kvaratskhelia, and he eventually whips the ball into the back post for Zaniolo to knock it down to Mateta Sarr to make it 2-1. But we wanted to try and run away with this game, which was going to be difficult. Harvey Barnes is, however, going to grab a hat-trick in an FA Cup final, which I don't know how many times that's been done. Let me know in the comments down below. How many times has that been done in real life? It can't be many. I mean, yeah, fair play. Basuma scores to make it 3-2, and we are going to get sent to extra time for 3-3 as Neves finds Pafundi in the middle, turns his man and puts it in the bottom corner. We're going to go to extra time, and we're actually gonna go down 4-3. Pedro Porro whips it in. Mistake from the goalkeeper. Pafundi is there. Never fear. It's Spurs you're up against. They're, of course, always going to bottle it. And that young man, Doherty, finds Torres in the middle. An own goal from Brian Gill means we're going to penalties. And we all know Spurs are 100% going to bottle it. And well, that's exactly what they've done. We won 4-3 on penalties. Kavicha and Basuma both ended up missing. So we are FA Cup winners, which means already we're going to be in the Europa League next season. But what if I told you we can go one step further and actually finish in the top 4? So we're going to be in the Champions League again. I mean, this is incredible. 71 points, 38 games, 21 wins, 8 draws, 9 losses, a 27 goal difference. I'm obviously going to put this rebuild file up on the Patreon, the one where we are in the Championship and the one where you guys will pick it up at the end of the rebuild, at the end of Season 5, because we guys doing this for 5 seasons. And you guys can play with this, and they'll also add the tactic file in there as well, because this overachieving 4-2-3-1, I made this months and months ago. I plugged it in. It is absolutely incredible. When you guys can use this in your saves, the Patreon link is down below. And purely, guys, to give that a little look, there could be some rebuild files on there, which give you new saves heading up for the rest of this year or potentially for FM25. And of course, it helps support me massively as a creator as we go into a time where it's a little bit difficult because the ad revenue isn't going to quite be there through November and December, or the drop of a new game. Supporting creators like myself is very, very helpful and is so appreciated. So if you guys can help out, that is the way to do it in the description down below. Obviously, next season, we're in the Champions League. The board have got unlimited money at this point. £75 million is coming into our back pocket. I'm actually going to try and do a Leicester and win the league in their second season in the Premier League because this team is good enough to do it. And if we're going to do that, we're going to need some insane players. So welcome in the cover star, Andreas Schelderup. He was the wonder kid of Football Manager when he was at FC Nordjylland. He joined Benfica and he's fallen off a little bit, but his stats are still absolutely fantastic. And in fact, these are better stats than I've ever seen him have before. 17 dribbling and first touch, great vision, technique, flair, anticipation, agility. This guy has it all, and he's our brand new left winger. And to be honest, that was a lot of our budget. So from there, we just signed a few decent players. Number 1 was Keviason from San in Brazil. Number 2 was young right back Elias Giller from Aston Villa. Number 3 was a backup goalkeeper, and of course it went for the wonder kid Guilherme Restes. Not that he's developed very well, but he's young and he's decent. And finally, an absolute steal for just £3 million is Arthur Vermeeren, another one that was one of FM's best wonder kids when he was in at Antwerp, I believe it was. He was absolutely fantastic. He's now 24, not developed at all, even though he's played 75 games of Atletico Madrid. So hopefully he can develop with us. And that just rounds off what is already a super fantastic team. We're just a little more well-rounded now and slightly better in terms of our backups as well. So I genuinely think we can go on a title challenge this season. We're in the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Community Shield, Premier League. We're predicted to come 6th already, which is crazy. And you know, we sometimes win rebuilds and we're predicted 10th, 11th, 12th, even probably 20th at some point. My beloved Stoke, obviously, this is the team that this all started with, have not done very well in the slightest. They have disabandoned signing massive English 6'4" brute players that have got Renato Sanchez and a bunch of, you know, different players in the team. This isn't my team. I don't know what's happened. They've completely ripped it up from the ground up, which is heartbreaking. So my poor Stoke are absolutely in the bin. They got relegated, and they won the championship with 91 points. Trying to copy me, of course, on the 109, but couldn't quite get there. So if you're wondering how Stoke are doing, absolutely awfully. They've disbanded the 4-4-2 meta tactics, which is disgusting. So let's go. Season 3, we're going for the Leicester. Wowza, that is quite some fall off. We have absolutely not done a Leicester. We have finished in 8th place on 60 points. That is an absolute stinker of a second season, but second season syndrome, it happens, and it means we aren't going to win everything straight away, which I guess it's a good thing. There is also, though, a reason we are in the Europa League, because we have won a trophy. And that trophy is going to be the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, where some of our players that we signed a few years ago are going to prop up here and just be outrageous. I mean, Brian Mbuemo is still outrageous, even like 6 seasons in now. Facundo Torres is going to find Nahuel Chaser, who we're going to touch on in just a minute, who scores to make it 2-0 against Liverpool. They are going to grab a goal back just after half-time, as Gavi finds a great ball, Federico Chiesa, who scores to to make it 2-1. But we are going to win this game 3-1 in the end. Kevierson to the left-hand side finds Harvey Barnes yet again. It's not an equaliser, it's a goal for Chaser. And we have won the FA Cup last season and the Carabao Cup this season. We won the Championship the season before that. We're on a record here to currently win a trophy in every single season. And I don't think that's going to change either, because Nahuel Chaser is absolutely fantastic. He started just 14 games this season. We've got 12 goals and is progressing into one of the best strikers in the world. I haven't got the editor enabled, so I can't see his current ability. If I was to guess, it'll be around 150, 160. He's only 21 and he's only going to get better. And to be honest, that goes for most of the team as well, because we have concentrated so highly on bringing young players through. I mean, our goalkeeper Olofsson is like 30, but he's absolutely fantastic. 19 area reach and 19 jump and reach, if you don't know, is very, very meta. He's 6'7" and fantastic. Yellow at right back is fantastic. Kevierson is great. Kovac and Euro can win titles for years to come. Angelo Stiller is a brilliant signing that was already here. Yanao is now getting older, but potentially still someone to look out for. And Buemo on the right also is now about 31, so potentially someone to replace. Sheldrup had a great first season at the club. Ramsey in the cam role is outrageous. And Samuel up front, he's pretty damn good. He scored 25 goals this season and he's going absolutely nowhere. So I am confident we're doing the right thing. I think it's just a case of plodding through, taking this as a second season syndrome, a little bit of a dodgy one. Next year going for the Europa League, so we continue winning every single trophy possible. And then season 5 we go for the Premier League and the Champions League. How does that sound? It does, however, mean more absolutely ridiculous mental signings. So welcome Desire Dewey, who's going to join the club as a backup cam. I mean, this guy's fantastic. He's joined PSG in real life from Rennes. He's an absolute wonder kid, and he's backup cam for Brentford now. I'm going to sign another French wonder kid as well in Ryan Cherki. He can play behind the striker in any of the positions. Is either-footed, unreal flair and trickery, and hopefully can bring that to us. And finally, a central defensive midfielder, Ayup Aydin, who's been signed from Galatasaray. This guy was a very good wonder kid in years gone back at Bayern Munich, or maybe even in FIFA years gone back, he was very good. He has now developed into an amazing central defensive midfielder in this game. Great sort of deep-lying attributes as first touch passing. He's consistent, great composure, and really looking to see him where he can do. And again, it's just ways of improving the overall squad, and they have all done that massively. And overall, I'm very, very happy. I genuinely think this season could be our best one yet. What we really wanted to do is to see if we could win a trophy in every single season. That wasn't going to be the FA Cup, as this time we lost in the final to Spurs. And well, Spurs have actually become a bit of a trophy nemesis, as they also win the Carabao Cup and knock us out in the semi-finals. And well, to be honest, teams from London just can't leave us alone. We've lost to Chelsea 6-4 aggregate in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, which means the only thing we've got is the Premier League. No, but don't worry, we've not won that one either. We have come fourth though and got back in to Champions League football. Boom, with a ridiculous we won the Premier League in this season while bottling all of that. But luckily we are back in the Champions League and there is one season to go where I need to win the Premier League and the Champions League. I set myself a 5-year max on this one, obviously rebuilding them from the Championship with the Champions League. We need to become champions of everything in one season. I actually believe it's possible. The board have given us another £50 million to spend, but the reason I believe it's possible is because the growth of some of these players. Nahuel Chaser is now the Argentinian number 9. 5 caps, 3 goals. I think he's pretty good. He's got 19 goals for us in 31 games as well. And that's not to mention how good Samu is. He scored 33. Cherki grabbed 16. And Buemo, even at 31, grabbed 14 assists. And Kevierson, who cost us just 6.5 million, got 11 assists from right back. So the team is good enough. We are certainly at a level where we can keep pushing because players are getting better and better. It's just now about putting all the pieces together. And I think that missing piece was an absolute superstar in CDM. So welcome in Luca Lippiani, signed from Sassuolo. I've spent £75 million to bring the Italian defensive midfielder into the club. He's incredibly consistent. He loves big matches. He's played 14 games for the Italian national team, and really he's an absolute leader and hopefully is going to bring us big things in that midfield role. And that's already signing for season number 5, so I suppose let's get straight into it and see if we can conquer all 5 trophies. And what I believe is for the 3rd season in a row, we are in the FA Cup final against the team in white again. It's not Spurs this time, it's Leeds, which means they're in bigger bottle jobs and we're going to absolutely smash them. If you are a Leeds fan, apologies. Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to do a Red Bull Leeds rebuild in a few weeks' time. It's going to be absolutely great. We won 2-0. We are FA Cup winners. And with the Premier League title came down to the final day of the season. We were level on points at the top. But this time we were playing against Aston Villa. And we are going to absolutely blow them away. Napoli Chaser makes it 1-0 before Levi Colville brings the ball down and sticks it in the top bins for 2-0. And in the 93rd minute, before the celebrations could get underway, Levi Colville wanted another. It was a 3-0 victory in this game, and that meant we had pipped Manchester City to the Premier League trophy by 1 goal difference. That 94th minute goal from Colville meant everything. The season was for nothing if it wasn't for that goal from Levi Colville. 85 points, 56 goal difference compared to City's 55. We had the same wins, the same draws, the same losses. We won it on the final day. What a story. But the story gets better because we also signed Luca Lipani this season. And from central defence midfield, he scored 18 goals and was the 3rd top goal scorer in the Premier League. The Segundo Volante role we've got him in works like an absolute treat. If you've got someone that knows how to go forward. This guy's only got 8 finishing. It really doesn't matter. He's got great technique. He's got great vision. He can link up play and he can arrive late into the box. And he did that to an absolute T. And it helped us get all the way to a Champions League final, where we faced up against who else other than Manchester City, and who else to give us a 1-0 victory than Levi Colville, the man that broke their hearts in the 94th minute in the Premier League to win us the Premier League title, breaks their hearts again and wins us the Champions League. Levi Colville, a Brentford legend. The squad we built was absolutely insane. Of course, it was more signing Meta Wonder Kids using ridiculous tactics, but we saw what it was like to rebuild a club from the Championship with the Champions League into Champions League winners in just 5 seasons. If you did like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.